life, you always want to find, if you're making something, like car manufacturers that are making something, making dinner plates, I don't care what you make, you want to usually appeal, if you want to make a lot of money, to the most amount of people, right? So, using this thinking style, a lot of people say that the Toyota Land Cruiser is the ideal car. Why? Because it has everything just if you need it, right? It has a third row. It has all the space in the world you could ever need, right? It's four-wheel drive. It can go off-road if you needed to. But for every single change that you make to make something bigger or, faster, there's always going to be some sort of effect. You can never just make a change and it just be completely neutral, right? There's always going to be some effect. So, is the ideal car the Honda City Turbo because it gets better gas mileage and because it's more efficient? Finding that balance is one of the most crucial things in deciding. Yeah, no, I'm good. Finding that balance is what car makers are trying to do, right? Do we want a tiny little cheap, shitty Econobox, or do we want a gigantic off-road SUV with a third row? It's always different, up to people. So today I think I found the car. This is the car where no matter who you are, if you buy it, you will be happy. I think it is the best for fuel efficiency, economy, everything. It's just the best in every single department. So, let's start in 2010. This is the RAV4 you could buy. It came with a third row if you got a nicer version. Somewhat cramped, though. Had a very nice interior. Pretty decent, nothing to complain about. And there was even an EV version. Now, this model had been introduced in 2006, so Toyota knew that it was getting old and they needed to replace it before the model hit 10 years. So, they were cooking something up. And I think this is, if not a good, but if not the best Toyota RAV4 or Toyota car in general ever made. I won't go that far. The best Toyota RAV4, right? The generation that applies to the most amount of people. Now, what's the problem with this generation? Why is the next generation over better? Number one, these are very old, so they're very hard to find used. We want something where it's new enough where if you buy the latest version, it's new enough to keep you interested, but it's also old enough where you can buy an Econo shitbox if that's what you want, right? It has to be in that perfect price range, right? So we're talking, this generation that we're going to move into is made from 2013 to 2017, which I think is the perfect amount of time. 2013, you can have your cheap little Econo cheap $1,000 shitbox. And then 2017, you'd be surprised how cheap 2013s are. That's not an exaggeration. And then 2017, you can have your limited, fancy, hybrid stuff. So Toyota, it's kind of like a runner's high. They were coming off, they were soaring, right? Coming home from this generation, right? Very nice. So moving into the next model, the 2013. So the 2013 was the first year that the Toyota RAV4 was introduced, or this new generation per se. You had three different trims. You could have the LE with the hubcaps. I'll tell you why that's really important in a minute. The Limited with the really nice fancy wheels, and then the one that I would buy, which is the XLE. If you got the, XLE or Limited, well, the XLE, let me just give you a little bit of the difference. The LE was the absolute cheapest one, and they are still incredibly cheap today, just because they last and run forever. Let me see if I can find one. Yes. So if you got an LE, you could either get like some weird radio or a screen if you got some package, right? And you had single zone climate control. And yes, manual, foreign RAV4s are much cooler than the ones that we got over here. But, that's true for most cars. If you got a XLE, then you got cloth seats like the, like the LE, but you got a nicer infotainment system with the screen, right? Pretty nice, still great, and dual zone climate control. Those are the two big differences. I would just stop here. Any other features that it's going to have, like a power tailgate on the Limited and leather seats, leather trimmed upholstery seats, it doesn't really matter, right? The screen is the same, the tech is the same, the dual zone climate control is the same. The only thing you're going to notice is the trunk, which is probably going to be broken by now. It's a Toyota, I'll give it some credit. Or, the cloth seats are just slightly more durable. The leather seems to rip, right? This was the first generation, and, usually when a car company, Toyota in general, any car company, comes out with a new generation of something, you expect it to be awful, right? Just because they're trying something out for the first time, they don't know if it's going to be reliable. Like the Prius, that's why a lot of people are leery of EVs. They have no idea whether they're reliable or not because they haven't been around for that long, even though technically, yes, they have. But this was actually a very good, very nice, reliable generation. There aren't any major problems. Like that Camry video I did, that has 4 or 5 major occurring problems that happen to almost every single model. There are some slight little issues here, but any problem you're going to have with this vehicle isn't a widespread thing. It's just maybe a little defect in the factory, right? Which, again, Toyota, many of these were built in Japan or in Kentucky. built very well. I actually used to own one of these before I got my little shitbox Prius, just because, I live in like the rockiest part of Florida you could live in. So, well, back then. And I needed something that would, take me off-roading when I needed to, just to like get to the grocery store or something. And then the Prius was my little Econobox. But overall, it was just a very nice vehicle. And this is if you want like an Econo shitbox, right? Get the LE if you want something cheap. Now, the good thing about the LE, and Toyota really thought about this, they did the same thing with the Prius. A lot of people like to state, well, they did this because it's supposed to look nice. No, it's more for functionality. These hubcaps, you're looking at those and you're probably thinking, oy, oy, oy. They don't look very nice, they look cheap. I don't really want a car with hubcaps. That's not really good for off-roading. And you're looking at all these models and generations and you're thinking, the LE is too flimsy and plasticky to go off-road. The XLE is too nice to go off-road. And the Limited is way too nice that it's just going to break instantly when it touches the ground. But actually, no. A lot of these, under the hubcaps is the steel wheels that we've talked about. I made an entire episode about it. This is the later generation, but yeah. This is what they look like without the things on. You can put little center caps on them. Very, very good without the hubcaps. These wheels are great for off-roading, nice big gummy tires. Perfect. These are very great off-road, right? So, 2013, I've got the 2013 owner's manual here. Of course, we can see the one in the front. And then we've got an LE in the back. Remember, the RAV4 was, back then, people, car companies actually cared if they sold cars or not. So they would display the cheapest one, right? They would display the most nice one, like the Limited, and then the cheapest one on the second page so that you could see what you're probably going to be able to afford, right? This was like a $40,000 car. This, not so much. I think late 20s, I believe. Yeah. So you can have the Limited model and then the XLE model, XLE shown in Barcelona red. They had a really nice blue. Of course, you can see the interior, dual zone climate control. A very nice system. We'll get into that later. Heated seats. I forgot to mention that. Yes, and driver and front passenger side heated seats. These are the nicer features. Of course, you can see the Limited interior shown in terracotta. Now, Toyota, remember, back in the day, when you wanted something to be sporty, it would be two-tone. This is Toyota's idea of that. I mean, it was an SUV. It gets very good gas mileage at 24-31, which is much better than regular, cars. I feel perfectly safe driving in this car today. If anyone owned this and I was driving in it, I would have no qualms. Perfect. Right? Again, you have the LE wheel, the XLE wheel. Very nice. And just a huge amount of colors. Just very, very nice. So let's move on to the updated version. In 2016, Toyota felt like the RAV4 was getting older. So they came out with this, right? The 2016 model really only stayed from 2016 to 2017, and then it blipped. But these are kind of more common, just a little bit, just because they're a little bit nicer. The only real changes are you have, like, fake. They're still halogen bulbs. They're not actual LEDs, but more sporty looking taillights rather than the good old chonkiness, the endearing chonkiness of the previous RAV4. These had these with the amber turn signals down there and then your white reverse lights. The only real change is that, and of course the blacked out Toyota emblem, and this one came in a hybrid, which is, I would definitely get that. Again, just perfect. And you also had a driver's display on all models right up above the LE, which was also extremely very nice. The other one just had a tiny little driver's information screen. Again, if you're looking for a shitbox, that's fine, but if you want a nice daily driver, I'd recommend the screen. The screen was also actually changed to be the flip-up DVD version, where you press the button and the screen flips up, very, very cool. They did that so that they could put a bigger screen in. They both suck, and I'll get into why they suck later, but yeah. If you're buying this car, if it's just like a shitbox, just put like a JVC radio in there or something. It doesn't really matter. If you want it to be your daily driver, I'd go with something like Apple CarPlay or something fancy like that. You can see it nice. Integrated navigation, bird's eye view camera, again, very nice. They changed the two-toneness, to make more sense than just stripes, which is really nice. And they made these pockets a little bit deeper. You have 3 modes, snow, regular, crap. Fake wood down there, of course. I mean, come on. Your USB thing and aux, so you can play things through the car with an aux port. I think that's a feature that, everyone's mad about the phones losing the aux port. This is what I'm mad about. It has 2 cup holders. Both of them are very good. The issue with the previous model, that cup holder, well, with this model too, I guess, now that I've actually seen it, I've seen it before, but I've only actually driven the older model. I lived out of that one, right? Well, I wasn't home. You know what I mean. I drove it to work every day. But the other one, that little ledge there, it doesn't look as big as it is. It really is. It's hard to fit cups in there, especially like your tall Hydro Flask in there, just because it hits the top and then starts to get scrapey under there. So you definitely want to check for that. The leather seats are fine. Overall, just a very, very, very nice vehicle. They also had the SE, which was supposed to be like the sport model for people who are sporty, apparently. I never really got that, but, not bad. The LE had better looking hubcaps, right? Again, LE, it's fine. It's so old, it doesn't even matter what trim level you get. XLE, again, very nice. SE, again, also very nice. Then you have limited platinums doing it too much. I wouldn't even consider the platinum. The limited is so nice. I would personally buy the XLE hybrid. It has everything you need. That's it. The SE hybrids, first of all, it doesn't change any of the specs. It's still the same. It's not like you get more stuff. You get less stuff. In fact, it should go SE, then XLE. And then you get the limited hybrid, which is just, fancy. This Galactic Aqua Mica, just perfect. The Electric Blue is okay. Not bad. I personally, the hybrid colors, the Galactic Aqua Mica, was definitely the best. And the only thing I don't understand, why they took the reds out and then put gray. Yeah, why they took the reds out in this one. Yeah, I didn't notice that one down there. I thought they added another gray in. Yeah, apparently you just can't have red with hybrid. Guess it doesn't go together. This is where things get nuts. So whenever I buy a new car, any car, let's say, as you know, I buy a lot of used cars just because I like them. Wide vent steel wheel with wheel cover, of course. Then you have your XLE hybrid, which are one of the best Toyota wheels ever made. I love them. Perfect. I was actually looking at one of those, but yeah. And then you have the SE and the limited/platinum one. Definitely not bad, right? And here's the trim goes LE fabric, and then you have XLE fabric. Whenever I buy a new car, I just get cat skin. Yeah, I forget the name of it. I have to look it up every single time. It's like $1,000, I believe. It was $1,000 for my Prius, just because it's a small little, rinky-dink thing. I think it's bigger if you have like a third row or whatever. And they actually exchanged the leather. I did have some issues with them, just a little bit. My door lock actuator. No, my window rolly downy switch wasn't as quick because the clips were put together back when it was kind of loose. Again, not a qualm. It's fine. So again, they went crazy they went psycho mode with the fabrics. When you get the fabric replaced, I didn't get mine replaced in the XLE that I had, the XLE all-wheel drive 2015. I'll get back to why I bought a 2015 and another 13 later. Yeah, they kind of went Insano style with this. You can get it like reversed. I would personally just get the nutmeg cloth. It's not bad. It's great. I really love the thing. If you're going to get like the leather one, I would just get the nutmeg. It's fine. I mean, it's the best color here, let's be honest. That one's way too rich. The ash isn't bad. I never really cared about the ash. The black was just, blech. I would just get the nutmeg. I like tan interiors. All my cars have tan interiors. All the cars I've ever bought, which is 3, have tan interiors. I'm enduring of the old comfortable times instead of the deafening Tesla times. So this is an interesting one here, 2017 RAV4 XLE. Very, very, very interesting, right? So this is an example of if you go up to the dealership, you say you want something certified pre-owned, this is what they're going to give you. Perfect. Again, another change, you may have seen that wide grille. It's a fake grille, but it's a real grille on the other one. This one has like this, which is weird. It's more modern, you're not losing out on anything, it's more modern, but it's okay. The screen I haven't really heard about the screens on this one, all I know is that the screens on the previous one were terrible. Driving position's very nice, everything's very nice. Again, it's a Toyota, it's going to be reliable, diff lock, everything you could ever want. Your dual zone climate control works pretty well. I actually really like the head vent that they have up there. Very, very nice. Now this is a 2017 Hybrid SE. Atlanta, best used cars. Wow, they sell a lot of things. Again, this is if you want something sporty. Again, it's not really sporty. If you just want to go to the beach or something, this will be more than enough for you. Horsepower's good, numbers are good, all-wheel drive, good. Overall, just a great car. Again, the price isn't that expensive. You can tell Toyotas usually retain their value very well because once a GM car pulls off the lot, it just immediately falls into shambles, $12,000 for the XLE because it's worth more than 2017 for the Hybrid SE. I would definitely get a hybrid. I mean, it doesn't hurt you. Same amount of numbers, same everything, but you get better gas mileage, 100%. This is the exact one I had, except mine was blue. Now, these are very good. The wheels, these are perfect for off-roading. There are some wheels that just look great on cars. I think this really fits this car, right? Definitely better than the XLE wheels on the newer one. Ooh, is this just an XLE? Is this not an all-wheel drive XLE? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Front wheel drive. I forgot to warn you about that. They made front wheel drive ones for a while. I had the all wheel drive one, so mine was useful. I mean, again, you're going to be fine in the snow, but if you want to go off-roading, you're definitely going to want that all-wheel drive. Very nice car, still perfectly usable. This isn't the one I would personally buy. I'd probably get an all-wheel drive, just for nicety's sake. Again, still a pretty interior there. You can see just your tiny little screen down there. It tells you the temperature, if your car is going to explode, overheat, standard stuff. You do get a sunroof in the XLE. That's, the only other difference. This is a 2014 Elite. Again, you need something to go to work that can maybe make it across your long driveway. This is actually worth more than the other one because this is an all-wheel drive, thank God. Yeah, not bad. I still don't get why Toyota did the front-wheel drive thing. You're going to understand why the screen has been swapped out later when I discuss it, right? Again, very nice car, very great. This is a 2016 RAV4 LE front-wheel drive, which isn't bad at all. Oh. Huh. Yeah, not bad. This one, wait, front-wheel drive? Why did they make so many front-wheel drive ones? Again, the front-wheel drive will get you through the snow, but it's not good for off-roading. If this was my car personally, I actually think the hubcaps, there's like a tier list. I think I should make a tier list of like AutoZone hubcaps. There are ones that look really shitty on the car, like they're on there and you're like, ugh, like the Civic ones. Ugh. I think this actually fits the car pretty well, especially, I like how they made the LE trim look nice. It doesn't look like a cheap car, like the thing that it actually is. It looks pretty sporty, which is nice. Again, same numbers, doesn't really matter. If you want something cheap, again, single zone climate control, it's an LE, and this is the newer one, but it still has the small little driver screen from the previous gen, just because, that's how it works, This next one, so which one would I buy? I would buy the Hybrid XLE all-wheel drive. So, all-wheel drive, perfect. The hybrid is great. There's some annoying chrome. I've seen a lot of comments on these about the cars that I do things on. There's some annoying chrome silver. It's not like a Chevy, right? Chevy's, a lot of American brands think that chrome is like luxury. I think us real car people, well, I'm not going to call myself a real car person. I think us actual consumers who actually buy decent product, that's typically not the case. But this isn't bad. I actually... it's kind of like the Volvo cucumber wheels on the S40 and V50. I actually really like these. A lot of people really don't. Again, you have that bigger screen there. So much worth it. Just so worth it. And you have that driver information display with the cloth interior. Not bad at all. So, as we discussed before, the hubcaps. Now, here's where things get interesting. This was the first generation of Toyota Entune. Now, Toyota was entering their hybrid era. They didn't really know whether they were going to go techie or reliable, right? Every single 10 years or so, Toyota decides exactly how they're going to do it, right? They bring out two cars and they let them battle, right? So, in the 90s, they were going to decide whether they went hybrid techie or EV or reliable normal. Of course, hybrid won, so they went with this Entune system, and I believe they started developing it in 2004. Came out. It's very dated. So this really quickly, the screen sucks. After a few years, it doesn't respond to touch anymore. I'll touch it right there, and then it would click on iHeartRadio. Two things up. The screen tracking software, it turns to mush after a few years. Mine did. I had to replace it. I wouldn't buy a Toyota one just because the Entune system is so old, first generation. This is what it was in the third generation Prius. Not a bad system, just dated, and with the crumbling screen, not that bad. If you buy a 2015 and later, you're going to get this, which is the Entune 2. Much better system, much easier to use. The screen still sucks, though. So with that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I think this was a pretty solid video,